the truth. You can't handle the truth. Truth.
And now, live from the Star Worldwide Studios Tower, overlooking the fifth largest city in America and heard worldwide, it's the Josh Bernstein Show. Liberal hypocrisy and leftist lunacy exposed and dismantled with intellect and facts. And now, here's your unapologetic host, Josh Bernstein.
Welcome to another hard-hitting edition of the Josh Bernstein Show. We got a ton to cover, so we're seriously going to get right into it. First off, we just saw the State of the Union address the other night, which the best part about the State of the Union address was, thankfully, it was his last one, okay? We're going to talk a little bit later with former Congressman and former presidential candidate Tom Tancredo about the State of the Union address and about the State of the Union in general. So we'll talk to him a little bit later. But before we get into today's show and what we're going to talk about, I want to roll this clip.
Fox News has a report out that the FBI is expanding its investigation and looking at possible overlap between the Clinton Foundation, your role as Secretary of State, and whether there's any public corruption involved. What is your comment on that? Is that story true?
Absolutely not. It's an unsourced, irresponsible claim that has no basis, and it is something that really is without merit and should not have any influence whatsoever in this nominating process.
By the way, you may have seen that I recently launched a Snapchat account. I love it. Those messages disappear all by themselves.
You know, Hillary Clinton thought that she was going to be able to skate through her Benghazi testimony, high-fiving her way to the Democratic nomination, okay? Then, with Emailgate, she figured, well, if I can just stonewall the investigation long enough to become president, then I can use executive privilege and squash the entire investigation, okay? But what Hillary didn't count on was a couple things. Number one, she didn't count on people like me in the new real media, the unapologetically real media that is not afraid of the Clintons or anyone on the left and will get the word and the message out with the truth to all of you. The other thing she didn't count on was an admitted, committed socialist masquerading as an independent running around the country saying that he's a populist in Bernie Sanders, okay? And if you look at the newest polling coming out of Iowa and New Hampshire, Hillary Clinton is really on a downward spiral, okay? Now, if those two incidents, Emailgate and Benghazi, did not bring her down, perhaps this next one that I'm going to discuss with you all will. Now, I'm not referring to her latest scandal, which is the email that shows that she agreed with former ambassador to Israel, Thomas Pickering's idea to foment unrest in Israel by having Palestinian women do an uprising in Tel Aviv, in Rabin Square, as a matter of fact. Okay? So what their thought was is if we can get women to come out and protest Israel's quote-unquote occupation, settlements, whatever it is that you want to call it, we can force them through civil unrest back to the negotiating table for peace accords in order to give the Palestinians, the invented people, their own Palestinian state. Okay? Now, the emails show that she was totally in favor of this. That's not it. That's not the scandal I'm talking about. Okay? the scandal that I'm talking about could be bigger than Emailgate and Benghazi combined. According to 3 separate FBI sources, okay, the FBI is now expanding their initial investigation from Emailgate and the State Department and sensitive material and information to now look at, where they should have been looking at to begin with, the Clinton Foundation itself. Now, according to these FBI sources, they are looking into whether or not she used her State Department and her State Department privileges to funnel illegal money to her foundation, the Clinton Foundation, as well as giving out no-bid contracts to mega donors. Okay? Let me explain how it works. You create a foreign charity, quote, charity, okay? Not on U.S. soil, and I'll explain why here in a minute. In this case, you pick Canada. Why? Well, because it's close to America, but it's still not in America, okay? So you set up this, quote, foreign charity in Canada. Now, the charity is called the Giestra Enterprises. The Clinton Giestra Enterprises is what the name of this charity is called. It is named after its founder, Frank Giestra. So, who is Frank Giestra? Well, Frank Giestra is the former head of Lionsgate Entertainment. He's now the head of Thunderbird Movie Productions. He's someone that has dabbled in the film industry, but more importantly, made his money as a business magnate and as a gold, silver, and precious metals and minerals dealer. Okay? As a matter of fact, he took a trip with Bill Clinton to Kazakhstan to see the president of Kazakhstan, and Bill Clinton and him negotiated. Bill Clinton pressured the Kazakhstani president to accept this guy Giestra and allow him to take over his uranium fields and his uranium business, making this guy Giestra the largest, one of the largest precious metals dealers in the entire world. And what happened after that, after this no-bid contract was finally given to this Giestra Enterprises? Well, he turned around and gave $31 million to the Clinton Foundation. But I'm off track. Let me get back to where we're at. So here you go. You set up a foreign charity, okay, on foreign soil. Then you have foreign leaders and governments that are told to donate directly to this foreign charity. All right? Don't send it directly to the Clinton Foundation. Send it to this, quote, charity. Okay? Now, once that happens, and by the way, over 1,100 different foreign dignitaries and governments and government officials sent their money directly to this charity. Okay? Then, and by the way, that's over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. Close to $1 billion has been sent to this, quote, charity in Canada. Okay? Then, the foreign charity then bundles all of these individual separate donations into one gigantic, massive donation that goes directly to the Clinton Foundation. All right? This is how this works. So, who are these foreign donors that have given hundreds of millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation? And why has the Clinton Foundation set up this, quote, charity in Canada and not the United States? These are questions that need to be answered. Well, number one, I can tell you this. The reason the Clintons set up this charity in Canada is because, according to Canadian law, it prohibits them from disclosing who these individual donors are. Coincidence? Is that just a coincidence that this was set up in Canada, knowing that their laws prohibit them from having these individual donors' names put out there? But you know what? We're going to know who those names are. And the way we're going to know that is because as this investigation unfolds and they find more and more and more of these emails, those names are going to be with 99.9% surety in those emails. Okay? So, this is how the situation works. Now, the Clinton Foundation then takes these separate individual donations, puts it into this one, directs it to the Clinton Foundation, and then they run around and they give speeches and they talk to different countries and they do all kinds of things. They talk about sickness and health and poverty and AIDS, and they travel all around the world on our dime, tax-free, I might add. Okay? But ultimately, that only accounts for about 10%, according to most officials, it accounts for about 10% of the donation money is actually spent on positive things, like traveling the world and giving speeches and putting money up to fight AIDS and famine and hunger and all these other different things, right? So that means that the rest of the money is going to pay directly the salaries of some of the people that work for the Clinton Foundation, and probably more than likely to pay off whistleblowers that are out there that know what's really, truly going on. And the rest of the money goes to their lavish lifestyle, okay? There's a reason that she is so out of touch. There's a reason that she hasn't driven a car in 20 years or whatever it is that she said that she hasn't driven a car. She doesn't need to. That Clinton Foundation is a money-making scheme, all right? Now, when the financial discrepancies come to fruition and the media gets wind of it and they start talking about it and they start examining it, the Clintons have the best lawyers and the best accountants money can buy, and then they go out there and behind the scenes they fix everything. Oh, well, that was just a clerical error. We're going to redo the last 5 years of the Clinton Foundation's tax returns to show everyone that we're on the up and up, okay? This is what this organization does. Now, the bottom line is this. Foreign money has been funneling into the Clinton Foundation for years, okay? For years. Ever since they left office, the money has been funneling in from all of these anonymous donors all around the entire world, okay? Now, it is tax-free for the most part, and it is untraceable, at least at this point, okay? This is textbook definition of money laundering, plain and simple. And I'm saying this right now. The Cosa Nostra and the Italian Mafia, they ain't got nothing on the Clintons. Nothing, okay? If this investigation is allowed to unfold as I believe it could and should, and an independent investigation clearly goes where the evidence takes them, and God forbid Hillary Clinton doesn't squash it with executive privilege by becoming the president, I believe that it will uncover that the Clinton Foundation is the largest political criminal enterprise in U.S. history. And I could only hope and pray that she goes down for the count because of this, Benghazi, and every other scandal that she has had. You're not going to hear that anywhere else but on the Josh Bernstein Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuning into the Josh Bernstein Show, where Josh covers the news the way the liberal media would not dare.
It's 3 a.m. and your children are safe and asleep. But there's a phone in the White House and it's ringing. Something's happening in the world. Your vote will decide who answers that call. Whether it's someone who already knows the world's leaders, knows the military, someone tested and ready to lead in a dangerous world. It's 3 a.m. and your children are safe and asleep. Who do you want answering the phone?
I'm Hillary Clinton, and I approve this message.
I'm Josh Bernstein, and I approve this message.
Every once in a while, someone needs a hand. To hold, to comfort, to lift. All across America, people are joining hands with AMAC to support our nation's greatest values. Every AMAC member makes a difference, and the more who join, the stronger America will be. Stand with those who stand for freedom. Join AMAC. Better for you, better for America.
Hi, Josh Bernstein here. Let me tell you about a fellow conservative and patriot named Arthur Mills. Arthur Mills spent 21 years serving our country. Now medically retired, he's still serving our country, but he's writing books now on how to protect it. Arthur has written 4 books, including the award-winning The Empty Lot Next Door. Unfortunately, due to his medical injuries sustained serving our nation, he must now use speech recognition software in order to write his books. His latest book, Friend or Foe, is an amazing story. Friend or Foe is a fun and entertaining modern-day animal farm that covers economics, environmentalism, and immigration. This story will help open the eyes of your children to the dangers of big government while frightening older readers with its modern-day relevance to many of today's issues. Friend or Foe is available for only $2.99 in both paperback and ebook versions at Amazon or through Arthur's website at www.branchingplotbooks.com. VA benefits only go so far, folks. Please, order Friend or Foe today.
You're tuning into The Josh Bernstein Show, where liberalism is a mental disorder. And Josh is the cure.
Welcome back to the program. Okay, before we get to Tom Tancredo, I want to go over one more thing. And this next segment is just unbelievable. So I think what I'm going to do to start it off is play this clip. Go ahead and play this clip.
Again. Funny.
You seem like you're in it for the kids, though. You seem like, you know, I mean, I don't...
hate kids. All this is so new to me, and what I've seen is money between the publishing companies, the Common Core publishing companies, and the schools.
Joke.
Is that true?
Bullshit. And the thing is, what they do is they create some new system that sucks, sell more books, and then we have to learn something new in the student, and so it's bullshit. It's all about the money. What are you, crazy? It's all about the money. You don't think that the educational publishing companies are in it for education, do you? No, they're in it for the money.
The publishing companies are the winners in this game.
Is that true? Is there money that goes in between?
Yeah.
Between the publishing companies and the schools?
Oh my God. It's all a money game. It's all a money game.
You seem like you're in it for the kids, though. You seem like, you know, I mean, I don't...
hate kids. I'm in it to sell books. Don't even kid yourself for a heart.
Now, as you can see in this clip, this is from the great investigative reporter who I have had the privilege to have on my program, James O'Keefe. Okay, this is the gentleman who dressed up as Osama bin Laden and went across the Rio Grande untraced and undetected. All right, this is also the guy who rented a boat, I believe, in Canada, drove across, was it Lake Michigan or Lake Erie, one of the lakes, into Cleveland, Ohio. I think it's Erie. Drove across Lake Erie, parked in Cleveland, at the dock in Cleveland, got dressed up, was already dressed up, actually, as an ISIS terrorist, had a duffel bag full of fake ricin, and walks directly into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, completely undetected. Okay? So to say that customs enforcement and the FBI and the government don't have it out for this guy, believe me, they do. He has been at the forefront of exposing fraud, government waste, and political hacks for years. And God bless him for doing it. And this is just his latest video in a whole slew of amazing videos that he puts out. And in this one, you can clearly see he's talking about Common Core and how it is all about the money. I hate kids. I can't stand kids. Don't think for 1 minute that this has anything to do with the fact that I love children, right? Diane Barrow, the lady in the video. It's all about the money. It is time for these states, these 42 states that are still subjecting and indoctrinating our youth and our children to this horrible Common Core standards crap, to pass legislation, whether the ballot initiative or whether the school board superintendents get tough and decide to put the pressure out there and say, enough is enough. We are done with these dumbed-down, one-size-fits-all, communist thinking, socialist, progressive collectivism, indoctrination studies and Common Core standards, which are retarded, ridiculous, and stupid. And they make no sense, okay? My kid brings home his homework, and I take a look at it, and, you know, a regular math problem that's 2 + 2 is 4. Somehow they have all these boxes and drawings and all this crazy stuff. It makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. I call it deductive unreasoning. Not deductive reasoning, deductive unreasoning. Common Core is creating a new generation of honeybees, okay? Drones that are there to kiss the queen's butt. And they're even doing standards in which they're now telling people, based on test scores, based on curriculum, that you are going to grow up to be a, quote, this. And you, because of your intellectual capacity, are going to be a, quote, that. That's what this is all about. It is taking the individualism, the entrepreneurial spirit of the American people and drowning it in collectivism, progressivism, and socialism, and it needs to go away. Contact your congressmen, contact your senators, contact the governors in your states, put pressure on them, and tell them that you no longer want your state to be part of this dumbed-down, Common Core, one-size-fits-all indoctrination of America's youth. We'll be right back.
You're tuning into the Josh Bernstein Show, where Josh covers the news the way the liberal media would not dare.
So what does Hillary Clinton think we should do about the Syrian refugees?
I think the United States has to do more, and I would like to see us move from what is a good start with 10,000 to 65,000.
What does Bernie Sanders think we should do about the Syrian refugees?
Do we have a moral responsibility to work with the rest of the world in providing help, bringing some of those people into this country? The answer is absolutely yes.
What does Donald Trump think we should do about the Syrian refugees?
I'm putting the people on notice that are coming here from Syria as part of this mass migration, that if I win, they're going back. They're going back. I'm telling you.
What would Donald Trump do to Iran?
I would bomb the shit out of them.
What would Donald Trump do to Al-Qaeda?
I would bomb the shit out of them.
What would Donald Trump do to ISIS?
I would bomb the shit out of them.
This will be coming to America. ISIS plans to bring these acts of terror to America. It makes no sense whatsoever for us to be bringing in refugees who our intelligence cannot determine if they are terrorists here to kill us or not.
This is not a grievance-based conflict. This is a clash of civilizations.
I'm Josh Bernstein, and I approve this message. Josh Bernstein here. You all know me as the hard-hitting and unapologetic conservative talk show host of the top-ranked Josh Bernstein Show. But did you also know that I have a softer side as well? I am proud and honored to be an official spokesman for a really great group known as the Association of Mature American Citizens, or AMAC for short. AMAC is a group focused squarely on meeting the needs and protecting the interests of America's seniors. We offer a conservative alternative on how to best solve the problems seniors face today. From saving Social Security to gaining more access and control over your health care, to answering your health-related questions and providing you with the products, services, and solutions that you seek. So if you are a senior 50 years of age or older and do not want more government-run and controlled healthcare solutions, there is another option. AMAC is better for America, and AMAC's got your back. AMAC.US. AMAC.US. Hi, Josh Bernstein here. Let me tell you about a fellow conservative and patriot named Arthur Mills. Arthur Mills spent 21 years serving our country. Now medically retired, he's still serving our country, but he's writing books now on how to protect it. Arthur has written 4 books, including the award-winning The Empty Lot Next Door. Unfortunately, due to his medical injuries sustained serving our nation, he must now use speech recognition software in order to write his books. His latest book, Friend or Foe, is an amazing story. Friend or Foe is a fun and entertaining modern-day animal farm that covers economics, environmentalism, and immigration. This story will help open the eyes of your children to the dangers of big government while frightening older readers with its modern-day relevance to many of today's issues. Friend or Foe is available for only $2.99 in both paperback and ebook versions at Amazon or through Arthur's website at www.branchingplotbooks.com. VA benefits only go so far, folks. Please, order Friend or Foe today.
You're tuning into The Josh Bernstein Show, where liberalism is a mental disorder. And Josh is the cure.
Welcome back to the program. My guest today is no stranger to The Josh Bernstein Show, making his 4th appearance on the show and his first on the television program. We were supposed to have a live video feed, but with Skype and some things, we're going to have his picture and his audio up. He is a 5-term recovering member of Congress and a former presidential candidate. It is my pleasure to welcome Tom Tancredo back to the program.
Thank you, Josh. It's a pleasure to join you, and I'm sure I look much better in the whatever picture you're showing than I would in real life.
Well, look, you just turned 70, right?
Right.
Just a little bit ago, and you're still going strong. And I'm just happy and excited to have you back on the program. What I want to talk about today in particular and want to kind of concentrate on is this horrific, I don't know what else you can call it, State of the Union address. I put out on Facebook that I had to watch this thing for everyone's amusement and also to report on it. And then I said I would have rather have been locked in a round room with a Tasmanian devil high on catnip than watch this thing. But unfortunately, I got to do what I got to do. So right. I know that you had an opportunity to unfortunately watch it as well. What is your the first thing that you gather from the entire thing? What came to mind right away?
You wonder if the President of the United States, you wonder really and truly what is going on in his mind. Does he really believe the things he is saying, or is he in fact delusional? I guess you could have both of those things operating at once. But you would have to say that he is either a bald-faced liar, which of course I think he is anyway, or that he lapses into periods of delusion, complete delusion. Because the things he said, I tweeted out this morning, that President to the nation last night, look deep into my eyes, concentrate, everything is good.
Yeah, it's like holding like the little thing, to hypnotize somebody.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because of course, everything he said, even when he's talking about the fact that there is such a division in the country, and that everything has become so polarized, and of course he says it's happening only in Washington, but it is not. It is a reflection of what is happening in the country, and it is because of him. He has created the division.
Absolutely.
His shredding of the Constitution, his completely impeachable offenses over and over again causes great dissension in the country. And then he pretends that he's the guy who's just simply reacting to all of this horrible stuff that the Republicans are doing to him. And that the world is great. The world loves us. The world is coming to us, for leadership. How can even the Democrats? I noticed that even when he started talking about Syria and the successes in Syria, even the Democrats were having a hard time trying
keeping
to
a straight
like
face.
They were. Yeah.
You know what I got from it is that it was almost as if his tone was like a subliminal brainwashing to pretty much tell everyone, because of what is coming out of my mouth has got to be the truth. We are the greatest country. We are the strongest financial nation. Our veterans are being taken care of. We follow the rule of law. I almost, choked on what I had in my mouth when he said that one. I couldn't even believe he said, with a straight face to the American people, that he believes in the commitment to the rule of law. That was just unbelievable.
Incredible.
Unbelievable.
That's
totally
why,
incredible.
I say you just don't know whether. You have to look at him and keep saying, is what is happening inside that head? Is it really and truly just you're looking at the essence of a political manipulator, or does he really believe it inside? I don't know, but whichever, it's scary as hell.
He's not even a good politician, to be honest with you. Without a teleprompter, it's like talking to a garbage can. But ultimately, he's not even the greatest politician and or orator. I don't even think he's a good orator at all. People like to say that he is, but ultimately he's really not. And I think what's just, so frightening about the whole thing is that there's millions and millions of Americans still that are going to watch that and go, yeah, you're great. You really did it. Take our guns. Bring in these Syrian refugees. Come on, do it. And these people are cheering him on. I couldn't believe it. Believe it. Unreal.
You got polls that tell you even if Hillary gets indicted, 52% of the Democrats would still vote for her. So what does this tell you?
I know, and that goes.
What does it tell you about the country?
Again, it goes to show you the thing that I've said for years, that a Democrat could literally strangle a live kitten on national television, but because there's a D in front of their name, all is forgiven, all is forgotten, and they'll go out and vote for him. Republicans don't normally do things like that. They hold their nose, and then they sometimes don't vote for something that happened back in 1972, It's just completely the difference, and that's truly how the left wins. I want to talk about, let's break this down a little bit more. He talked about Iran, he talked about Syria, he talked about all the things, and he even admitted that it is a dangerous world. But then, if you noticed, he said in his speech that it is an ever-changing world, and it's going to continue to change at a rapid pace, and you're just going to have to deal with it. As if what he was saying is, I'm not done with the fundamental transformation of America, and therefore you're still going to get more of my executive action. You know what the thing is about Barack Obama? And I've noticed it for a long time. I've really noticed it last night. How do I put this? He's a condescending, arrogant elitist through and through. His comments were snide. They were obnoxious. And he's like, well, if you're still some of those people out there that don't believe in climate change, then, you're sitting there all by yourself. Like, he's just an obnoxious, just disgusting, abhorrent person who I just detest with every bone in my body. And to be honest with you, I can't wait until he is gone from the public square. There's been a report out that he's now lobbying to become the next Secretary of the United Nations. So in other words, now that he's left the presidency, I know some people out there think that, he's going to declare martial law and not leave. Personally, I don't think he wants to be there, to be honest with you. So I think ultimately we have a situation where he's lobbying to continue to thumb his nose in America's face by wanting to become the head of the United Nations. We are working on getting a way to make sure that that doesn't happen. I know that Benjamin Netanyahu has also said that he doesn't agree with that, and he's going to do everything that he can behind the scenes in order to fight that. One of the things that he said, Tom, was that the United States has the strongest economy in the world. I mean, I couldn't believe that he was even saying something like that. $20 trillion in debt, 95 million people not working, 50 million on food stamps, 10 to 12 million on disability because their 99 weeks of unemployment ran out, three credit downgrades. I mean, what is this guy talking about, saying that the economy is strong?
I'm telling you, it was like during the Cultural Revolution in China, everybody who had to get their mind straight, was taken to a re-education camp. And I think that was what we were watching last night, was the attempt to put the entire country in a re-education camp and get their minds straight, because, of course, reality, it cannot be he cannot deal with the reality. The president, the Democrat Party, even the Republican Party, unfortunately, want to paint a different picture of what is happening in the United States, because they are in power. And the acquisition of power and the maintenance of power are the only things that drive most of these people. And so you have to create illusions. And people want to believe. Don't you think that most people, really and truly, most Americans want to think things are good,
right,
or things will get better. And even if they have nagging sort of, I don't know, something doesn't feel right, you want to hear the president and the, quote, leadership in the country tell you everything is cool, everything's going to be fine. And so that's what they play to. And I have to tell you, I am almost as upset about the Republican response to this, and I put response in quote, because it really wasn't a response to the president.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And, what's amazing to me is that the pundits out there are going around saying that, oh, this was the greatest response to the State of the Union that a Republican has ever given. Nikki Haley, she was fantastic, and this and that. I mean, she basically blamed, if you think about it, the Republicans for Barack Obama's actions, which in some respects she is correct, because, again, the Republicans haven't been there as that stopgap to fight against the executive, instead have been their biggest cheerleaders. So she was correct in that. But let's not forget, this is the woman that went out there publicly and said that it's time to take the rebel flag down from the state capitol in South Carolina, and
right,
which I think is a veiled threat against Christianity and all of Southern heritage and pride.
I don't know how you can possibly call what she did a response to the President's State of the Union message, when what she did for a large part of it was attack the Republican front runner in the Republican primary. She attacked, without using his name, but it was very, very clear when she's talking about Muslim immigration, all that she's talking about, Donald Trump. And so whether you like Donald Trump or not, I happen to be a Cruz guy, but I was furious. Here is the Republican response, and she uses the time to attack the Republican front runner. I don't know. I dropped out of the Republican Party over 2 months ago, and after 50 years as a Republican, I couldn't take it anymore. I was at an event, and a college student asked me why she should become a Republican. And when I could not answer that question with a good heart,
right,
I figured there was no longer any reason for me to stay, and I left. And I don't know how any Republican truly can look at what happened last night, what she says, and stay a Republican. Both parties are losing members. And, you know, I think the Democrats are down 29%, I heard, or something like that.
Which is amazing. It's still 29%. I mean, who are these 29%? Hardcore communist leftists, I guess.
At any rate, I was so disappointed in that and in her, and it was hard enough to watch State of the Union message, and then to top it off with that, you really made me do this because I was going to do this show today, and I must tell you, I'm not happy with you.
Well, you know what? Misery loves company, and in this case, unfortunately, you know, I had to sit through this thing and watch it too. But again, as you said clearly a little earlier, this was propaganda. This was propaganda at its finest. This is what leftist socialist leaders do, not just here in America, but they do all around the entire world. The only difference is geography. They all believe the same, they all think the same, and they say the same things. And they use language to try to fool the masses. That's exactly what Barack Obama has been able to do for these long 7.5, almost 8 years. And it's about time that we have somebody go around and call him out on these lies. And instead, we don't. We have network people saying that it was a great speech, and you know, that it had a different tone, and it didn't have a laundry list of policy procedures that he wants to cram through in the last year. And I just don't understand, if they're truly conservative Republicans that believe in limited government, believe in self-reliance, you know, the transcendentalists, if you really want to go far back, I just don't understand how they can look at this and say that this was a good speech.
In any way, even the technical nature of it, I found it just tedious as hell. It was disjointed. There was, even the way he was trying to, I guess, emphasize things, even though he had his teleprompter, even that aspect of it was annoying. And, you know, every single president and every State of the Union message is designed to, you know, advance a particular cause and agenda, and, you know, we're great and everything's worked out wonderful. But there has never been, to the best of my knowledge, I have never seen, not even with Clinton, I have never seen any speech of like this, any address to the nation, that was so devoid of any empirical evidence of veracity.
Exactly.
There's always, you know, you could always have, they'd always point to something, some things that were, you know, hard to commit a mistake or hard to deny. These things could have happened because we're here. He could not do that. He used the words, but it is so blatantly, everything he said was so blatantly contradictory to the truth of the matter that I don't know.
Yeah, no, look,
to me, I kept thinking
I
myself,
understand. I understand where you're coming from. You know, look,
oh, man,
you know, as a five-term recovering member of Congress, how different is it from when you were serving with greats like J.D. Hayworth and even Tom DeLay was a good, you know, speaker, and some of those folks? What was it like then compared to now? I mean, could you even imagine being in Congress right now?
Well, I must admit to you that I left on my own because I really could not stand it anymore. Mm-hmm. And the environment was certainly not pleasant to be in. I was disliked by my own party, by the president, George Bush, certainly by the other party. I had burned just about every bridge, I guess, there was to burn there because of my stance on illegal immigration. It just simply was the way it was. And so it was unpleasant after 10 years, and I felt I could really do no more there, and I wanted to come home. I mean, that was really, honest to God, the truth. And the last night, I mean, I have absolutely no regrets, I must admit to you. I had to sit in that audience on many occasions listening to this kind of thing, and this perfunctory sort of applause. You have to get up and applaud even when which I wouldn't do.
Right.
I would just sit there, and of course everybody, and the cam would pan to me, and then I'd get all these nasty emails and stuff. But it's such a fraud. The whole thing. It's a, you know what it is? Washington in general. But last night is a perfect example of a kabuki dance.
Mm-hmm.
It's you have the stuff going on up there, but there's nothing behind it. Everybody knows that it's a big fraud.
Yeah, if you close your eyes and you look close enough, you can actually see the strings that Soros was actually pulling up there.
Yeah, that's right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Anyway, it was challenging at the time, but challenging for America, because what he was saying really, in so many words, is that I am going to continue to transform this country. He was trying to, again, work two things in. One is everything is wonderful. We are great. We've always been wonderful, but I am transforming this nation.
Right.
A thorough, remember?
Yeah, he was validating his leftist ideology and policies by saying that things are going to continue to change, and don't you dare ever think of undoing my legacy. Without actually saying those words, if you look between the lines, you can clearly see that that's what his tone and what his message was. And as I said earlier, he's obnoxious, he's arrogant, he's an elitist, and the best part about the entire State of the Union was, thank God, it was his last. The guest is Tom Tancredo. Tom, before we leave, where can folks go to learn a little bit more about you? And is there any projects that you're working on right now that you'd like to enlighten us about?
Yeah, I am running a PAC called Team America. You can go online and my Facebook page is Team America, Tom Tancredo, and give us a hand. We are going to try, and we will support any candidate who's running against a Republican in a Republican primary, or even as an independent. We will support them if they will support securing our borders and doing what, of course, I've been worked on for 25 years in terms of true immigration reform. And so that's the best place to hook up.
Gotcha. Well, Tom, again, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the program. You're welcome back anytime, sir. We've become good friends over time, and I'm really glad to have you on. And anything that comes up, anything that you want to talk about, any kind of update you got, you just let me know, and we'll bring you back on, okay?
Deal. Take care.
All right. God bless.
Bye-bye.
Okay, folks, so that was Tom Tancredo, former congressman, former presidential candidate, just a phenomenal human being, great patriot. One of the things you can say about Tom Tancredo is he's one of the old originals, okay? He's someone that kept to his conservative principles. He's an authentic reformer, and even when he was in Congress, he kept to that. He was always a conservative, and that's why he was hated and despised by the Rhino Republicans in Congress, okay? Now, one other thing before I leave. Last night, I found an article that was sent to me by one of my supporters that said that Right Wing Watch, which is a left-wing organization, did an article on me when I was on the Gordon Klingenschmitt show a couple of days ago, in which I explained how Jews are more liberal because of Jewish guilt. And it was a hit piece. It said, what did it say? It said, right-wing conservative commentator says that Jews vote Democrat because of Jewish guilt. So I want to thank you, rightwingwatch.org, for putting that piece out there. I wear it as a badge of honor. Until next week, God bless.
Thank you for joining the Josh Bernstein Show. Unabashed, unafraid, and unapologetic. Holding America to a higher standard. For more information on the Josh Bernstein Show or to connect with Josh, just go to StarWorldWideNetworks.com.